Those of y'all that's been in my league, y'all already know when we get to playoffs, when you hear this sound, you know what that means. That means there's only been a chosen few that have entered the jungle, but only one will make it out alive. Who will that one person be? Well, that's why it's called the playoffs. One game elimination. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. He moves further on into the jungle. See, you got a total of 16 teams. I mean, my bad. A total of 14 teams. 7 from the AFC, 7 from the NFC. So it starts out as a little clutter, but eventually, as each stage goes on, it dwindles down, dwindles down, dwindles down. So eventually, you end up with just 2 teams left playing for 1 trophy. And that 1 trophy goes to the 1 team that was able to survive the jungle. It's been an interesting season because over here in this league, we divided the teams up among users from the other league. So we made sure we try to give everybody a little bit of, teams with that's more of a higher caliber opposed to other teams in the other league that they may have. And you can't always say it's going to be the same thing no matter who get what, because as you can see when you look around, there are certain people that's not in this tournament that coming into the season you would have had there. There are teams that you see in this tournament that you wouldn't have thought would have been here, despite the user, despite the user that team has. Prime example, I'm pretty sure many people seen the user that was on the Ravens and figured, all right, they're not going to make the playoffs. But guess what? He's in. At this point in time, record no longer matters. Whether you made the playoffs as a number 1 seed, whether you make the playoffs as the number 7 seed, none of that matters. This point in the time of the year, you better come with your A game. Because if you think you could be cute and come out there as a number 1 seed and do what you like, guess what? You will be watching the remaining of the playoffs on your couch in Cancun. So go finish what you're doing. What happened? Just go finish. Go study. You're not finished? You got to go study, because I'm going to ask you all them words. So go study. Look at them, say them to yourself, repeat in your mind. Keep doing that. I'll be with you in a few minutes. Go ahead and go finish studying. So, yeah, I always say, now is the time to no longer be experimenting. You know, in the regular season, you know, sometimes you can come out there and try some new plays. Now ain't the time to really try no new plays. Unless you're up comfortable, you know, other than that, it's about getting the win. See, in the regular season, you don't care if you win by 3. You just trying to get the win. But in the playoffs, you definitely no longer care about that. You just want to win, even if it's by 1 point. Your goal is to get the win and move on to the next round. Not try to beat a team by 30. Not try to beat a team by 40. Get the win and try to get the win as healthy as you can be. That's all the goal is. And to move on to the next round. Nothing more, nothing less. But one thing I do know about playoffs, there are always upsets. Every team that's the favorite does not win. Every team that's the number 1 seed does not go to the Super Bowl. Trust me when I tell you, we've been doing this for a very long time. If there's one thing that's guaranteed about the playoffs other than there will be a Super Bowl winner, you can guarantee there will be an upset. There will be a few upsets. Every team that you say is going to win is not going to win. And it may be just because they lost a big player during the game. I don't know. I'm just here to tell you there will be some upsets. You can count on that. Even if it's not the first round, it will be by the second round. But no matter how you spin it, both users got to come to play. Now is not the time to take nobody for granted. Anything can happen. One bad call, one bad pick, one bad play call, one bad fumble could send you home. All the work you put in, one of the worst feelings in the world is to, as fast as you got in, as fast as you going home. Granted, you may look up and say, well, at least we made the playoffs, but let's be honest, nobody wants to make the playoffs and go home their first game playing. You want to be able to at least sweat, right? You want to be able to at least crack a sweat. I don't think you crack a sweat if you get eliminated in the first round. Now, number 1 seed sometimes can be overrated. You know why? Kari. You know why the number 1 seed team can be overrated sometimes? Because it's too much time off, right? A lot of times when you play in the first round, you go into that next round with momentum. You understand? You're going into that next round with confidence. So I can't tell you how many number 1 seeds I've seen lose their first time playing after the bye week. Don't get me wrong. If you got a chance for the number 1 seed, you take it. That's one less game you got to play. That's one less game you got to worry about getting players hurt. But the fact of the matter is, having the number 1 seed doesn't guarantee anything. But for now, it's good to be able to sit back and watch these other teams, you know, get physical with each other out there in the field. Because everybody's at risk to losing their top quarterback. Everybody's at risk losing their top receiver, top cornerback, top running back. So that's why we are saying welcome to the jungle. So that was just a quick playoff preview of the matchups for this first round. But there's some things that's undeniable, right? And we just got to get into, you know, a few things. And the few things that we got to get into, every season has a story, right? Storyline. So, hold on, where's the, I'm trying to get into the regular schedule. So every season has storylines and things like that, right? So, I feel like it's only right that we go back I don't want to see the playoff schedule. I want to see the regular. All right. Regular schedule. We ain't gonna go back all the way, but we'll go back to about week 15, because that's when things started, like, getting pretty interesting. So, when you start getting to week 15 and stuff like that, week 14, things start getting pretty tight. Palms start getting a little sweaty, because people know money's on the line. You know what I mean? So over here in week 15, now the Black Knights, my boy BJ didn't get in. He's somebody that started out good, but then kind of faded out. Don't quite know what happened to him. He was balling in the early part of the season, but I've came on this platform many times and said, it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. I've seen teams get off to a fast start and then fade away and not get in. I've seen teams get off to a slow start and then get hot and then get in. That even happened this season. So we're gonna get into it. Raiders, Activists. Activists had moments where, 1 week he came out looking like he might be on to something, and then next week he faded to the black. But nevertheless, he didn't get in. He didn't make the playoffs, so he got some off-season adjustments he got to make, as well as the Oakland Black Knights, because he had something that he started with. I don't know if he just faded away from it or if it was no longer working, but neither team got in, so both teams go into the off-season with some questions to answer. Then we had Falcons. In my opinion, one of the I don't want to say the shocker of the league, because Josh is definitely a great user. So I'm not going to say it's a shocker, but this Atlanta team definitely, I'll say, took the league by surprise by what he was doing, right? Ritter's in the MVP race. I mean, when you see users like Josh with the Falcons, it's a clear-cut example of what I say. Don't always get caught up on what the team has. Focus on what their strengths are and play to it. And Josh did that, right? He's definitely played with the Falcons to their strength. Using the running back, getting Ritter out there and RPOs and getting them out there on a run. Right? Ritter is not a drop back passer, right? You got to get him active. He has some speed with him, so you got to make him. You got to move him around. You got to make him mobile. Josh played like that. You know what I'm saying? To have Ritter in the MVP conversations, that's big. That's not something that you sweep under the rug, because there's not a lot of people that's going to be able to do that. You know what I mean? So let's give credit when credit's due. The man been balling with the Falcons all season, putting up high numbers, playing good D with that defense. So, I always say everybody always want to get, not everybody, but a lot of guys always want the top teams. Having the top teams don't mean nothing. You don't believe me? Let me just tell you this. The Eagles, right? Everybody loves the Eagles. Everybody says about the Eagles. The Eagles did not get in the playoffs. Go figure, right? And don't tell me, well, it's the user, because DK is a great user. You understand? But I'm here to tell you, just because you have a certain team doesn't guarantee you nothing. You know what I mean? Because before you sit up here and try to tell me about, DK, let me also remind y'all, DK have the Patriots in the other league. Go finish doing what you're doing before we don't go nowhere and get nothing. All right, I don't care what he's doing. You go over there and finish doing what you're doing. Hey, put this over here. Put this down. Leave it. So let me just tell y'all, like I say, DK is a good user. You understand? Because DK did things with the Patriots. He's been doing things with the Patriots that a lot of y'all couldn't do. So I'm just trying to tell y'all, man, in these leagues, there's competition, right? There's a lot of competition, and it's never about pretty much the team that you have. It's all right. You still got to go out there and play. You understand? That's what it's all about. I'm just here to tell y'all that. I've been telling y'all that having a team doesn't guarantee anything. You understand? So, again, shout out to the Falcons. He's been playing great ball all season, and I'm interested to see what he does in his playoffs with this Falcons team because, bear in mind, this is season 1 for the Falcons. The Falcons can only get better. You understand? He's not going to lose the key guys that he likes. He's going to keep them, and he's going to add pieces to that team. You understand? So Falcons been balling all season. Now the Panthers, they pretty much, I thought Norm would have did better with the Panthers because they got that nice QB over there, the young boy, Bryce Young. So I expected more from him, but he just never quite got anything going with this Falcons team. I mean, the Panthers team. Panthers are young. Yes, they do need pieces, but I just think that, to me, with guys like Norm is that they don't adapt to what their strengths are in the team. They just only lock in on what they figure they know how to do, and you can't play the same with every team. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Give me 1 second. Come out. You know what I'm talking about when I say card, so you ain't gotta keep repeating it. Right? You can't play the same with every team on this game, right? Because every team don't have the same pieces. You understand? Whatever team you have in with, I don't think you can play the exact same way with the same team over here in legal. I mean, I just don't. I wouldn't suggest that. You understand? Like you kind of have to adapt to play to your strengths, which is what I was saying about the Falcons. You understand? Like, he played to his strengths. You understand? And that's what it's about. It's about having a scheme and knowing, all right, well, with this team, we're going to have to do this. You understand? Claw, prime example in Wick. He got the 49ers. No, he's not trying to make Brock Purdy lead the league in passing. You understand? But what he's doing is he said, all right, on offense, our leader is Christian McCaffrey. So he's going to base his scheme around McCaffrey. Guess what? If you play against the 49ers in Wick and you let McCaffrey catch 15 passes in the game, he's going to throw him 15 passes. You understand? Like, you got to play to your strengths. I always tell you, it's about playing to your strengths. It's about playing to your strengths and hiding your weaknesses. So in this case, I just think that certain guys all they know is what they know. Or they figure whatever's supposed to work, and that is not going to be the case. So Panthers, they're gonna have some off-season adjustments they got to make as well. Lions and Broncos. I'm not gonna lie. I'm surprised that Carnage is missing the playoffs. I definitely would have had Denver making it. But he didn't get in. You know what I mean? It's just one of them things that happens sometimes. It doesn't slight him as a user. I still look at him as a great user. You know what I mean? It's just like I say, man. Like, a lot of times in these leagues, it's any given Sunday. It's things that can happen. It's trap games. It's all type of things that can happen that can lead to, when you look back, you be like, man, what happened to the season? That's just what it is. You understand? Like, there's really no way around it. But Broncos, they definitely got some moves to make in the off season. To figure out what they're gonna do, how they're gonna improve the team. Like I said, the Broncos' biggest problem is Russell Wilson, and I say that because he got a bag over there, and then it's like you can't cut him because that cap penalty, I believe, is through the roof, and then it's like, well, yeah, you definitely can draft your quarterback, but then it's like you got this guy eating at the cap that's not even playing. But, hey, if you didn't have success with Russell Wilson the first season, then I'm not gonna lie. I'm just pretty much going to look to say, Rush, you're going to have to sit. You're just going to get paid to sit, So that's pretty much what the Broncos' dilemma is. The Lions, trade dog, Mr. Reliable, what happened?
I think I'm ready to study.
No, you ain't ready. You've been studying. Go finish studying. Like I said, when I finish this, I'm coming to test you. So go look at the words and say them to yourself in your head and spell it out. Don't look at the paper as you're spelling it. So, yeah, the Lions, I don't even know if the Lions made the playoffs. The Lions in the playoffs? I ain't even see that. Hold on, let me go look real quick. Y'all. No, the Lions didn't get in. Boy, my boy Trey Dog didn't get in. Wow. Listen, man, like I say, the Lions started off good too, you know, and he didn't get in. So, I tell you, man, any given Sunday, like Trey Dog, another good user. You understand? So right away, you see two good users not in. One from the NFC, one from the AFC. You know, and the Lions started out good. Another team that started out good didn't make it. You know, it's interesting, man. Like, it's real interesting. Like, you know, and I always say that there are guys that miss the playoffs that you still have to respect. And I'm not talking about these two guys. I'm talking about just other guys in general. Like, there are other guys that you see not making the playoffs, but when you come and play them, yo, you got to put your foot on their neck. You know what I mean? Like, there's not really no guys in these leagues that you just could come in with a whole new playbook, you know? Like, it's really not. Like, you really going to have to play. Yeah, you may get the game over in the first half. You look up, some scores may be 35-3 the first half. All right, game over. But what I'm saying is, you did that. You came, put your foot on their neck. All right, cool, that's it. But what I'm saying is that going into the game, you can't go in and play just with a whole new playbook with a bunch of new plays that you never use and figure you just going to try it out on guys. Like, it ain't going to work. You know what I mean? So you got to respect guys' handle. You know, but Trey Dog didn't get in. Carnage didn't get in. Two surprises for me. If week one, if I was making playoff predictions, I definitely would have had these two in the mix. But those two didn't get in. Vikings and Bengals, that was a force. Didn't happen with that. Steelers took out the Colts. Dwayne played better with Pittsburgh. He played better with Pittsburgh than one would think. You know, if he could just stop turning the ball over, he'll be all right. You know, Black Star started out, he came out hot with the Colts, got cold in the second half of the season, but did enough to hold on to win the division and get in. But the Colts is not going into the playoffs with the most momentum right now. They're one of them teams that I say that you call limping in the playoffs. And I'm not saying limping as far as injury. I'm saying limping as far as, like, their morale ain't all the way high. You understand? They haven't been playing good ball lately. And this time of the year is when you want to be playing your best ball. So we'll see how things shake out moving forward. Bucks and Packers, we got a new Bucks user. DP took over from the Bucks user that we had. You know, it's just the Bucks user that we had. The one thing we're not allowing in these leagues is just straight tanking. Like, not even playing or responding to opponents. Them days is over. And I've been saying that. Like, we're not tolerating that. Like, our leagues is too competitive. We have too much fun to just let somebody come in and just give away wins every week. You know what I'm saying? Because your season is over. You got a bad record. Listen, if you want to tank, then you still got to play. It ain't no just give your opponent the win. We're not doing that. You understand? Like, nah, we're not doing that at all. So, you know, if anybody that I've seen doing that is not in, and if you was in and you started doing that, you got removed, you no longer will be back at all on no Maddens. That's just where I'm at with it. You understand? Like, you know, at this point in time, if you start getting booted for certain things, there is no coming back. You understand? There ain't no later on in this Madden checking back to see if it's spots. Madden 25, checking to see if there's any spots. Them days is over. If you get booted for certain things, that's just it. You understand? Apparently, that just means that our league is not just for everybody. It's not just for you. You understand? And yeah, I said our league because, like I say, this ain't my league. This our league, you know. So we just don't have. We just ain't gonna take the fun and take the thrill out of it by having guys that's not responding back to messages. Like, I respect guys more if you at least communicate and say what's what. But when you just go MIA, not saying nothing, nah, them days is over. You understand? We ain't no rookie league over here. Like, we've been doing these leagues for a couple of years now, to where it's that we ain't just letting anybody in. You got to earn your worth. And some guys, it's just banned. Some guys are no longer to come back. And I mean, I don't care if we in Madden 28. Like, some guys just never be back. I'm not even going to play with it. I'd rather have a CPU before I have certain users. That's just where I'm at with it. Packers, Parkway Stunner, another guy that didn't get in, started out pretty good as well. See, there's a lot of guys that started out good, but then didn't continue. You know, fell off. You know, I don't know if Jordan Love factor kicked in. I don't know what happened. I don't know what the case may be, but Packers didn't get in. Packers, another team, going to have some off-season questions to answer within that organization to figure out, are they going to continue to move with Jordan Love? Are they going to try to draft a quarterback? Or are they going to try to get lucky in free agency? I mean, we'll see. But Packers did not get in. Packers started out good, but then faded away. Jets and Dolphins. Jets started out extremely slow. I mean, started out the year like 1-5 or something like that. But then they started picking up steam, but it was too little, too late. And as you can clearly see, he actually beat a good Dolphins team over here in Week 15. So he's one of them guys that started out slow, but then second half he picked it up. But it was just too many losses in the beginning. He couldn't get past it. You know, it just came back to haunt him. But I believe come next season, it's going to add to this Jets team, and I think he's going to show his presence over there in the AFC. So that's an AFC team that did not get in, that I think that's going to be a problem for anybody come next season. The Dolphins, listen, Pearl is an OG, right? Pearl is an OG when it comes to this. And Miami, a team that everybody loves, right? Everybody likes Miami. Yes, Pearl is in the playoffs, but even with a team like Miami, it doesn't guarantee success 24/7. The Dolphins definitely took a couple of punches that left a few black eyes this season. So again, it's not always about what team you have. Like a lot of guys always caught up in, you know, certain teams. And I think more guys, and I'm not talking about Pearl in this per se. I'm only speaking on just the way I see things shake out. I think if more guys knew what they like to do and focused on that, they'll be better off rather than just getting caught up with looking at what certain teams have and then don't even utilize it anyway. Again, I am not talking about the Dolphins. I'm just trying to make a point. You know, because what I'm basically saying is that we all know Pearl is nice, right? But even with Pearl getting Miami, you'll be like, oh, Pearl got Miami. Oh, Pearl going to run through things. Nah, not the case. You know what I'm saying? Pearl took some losses this year. You understand? So what I'm trying to tell you is that you still got to play regardless. But I think some guys would be better if they knew what their niche was. If you know you're a type of guy that loves tight ends and a good running back, I think you should look for a team that has just that and build around that, rather than looking at a team that got good receivers and good this, and then you don't even take advantage of that anyway. You know, so I'm just saying, I think if more guys paid attention to what their scheme was, then they'll be all right. But the Dolphins been kind of funny, right? Like, because one week the Dolphins will come out and they'll look like they got their swagger back, and then the next week they'll come out and they'll look like, oh man, what's going on over there in MIA? You know, but hey, again, this is still early Madden, right? We're only in November. You understand? We're not in, this is not April and May. Like, a lot of guys are still not 100% comfortable. How I know that? I'm not 100% comfortable playing the game. You understand? Like, the reason why there hasn't been no fifth quarters, because I haven't had the time. But again, I always say, any one of my commissioners can get on and do it, but nobody wants to do it. Like, everybody kind of feels like they just want me to do it. You know, I'm not the only one that say I only want to be the one doing the fifth quarters. Anybody can do it. That's a commish. You understand? But I just haven't had the time, and I would love to get on and put some time in just in my own personal game. You understand? Like, the thing about me is that I know that I have been able to play and stuff, and I know that this game is not like last game, right? The passing is different, the defense is different. Like, there are a lot of things that's different from this Madden to the last one. So I'm still not all the way comfortable with my game. You understand? Like, a lot of times, a lot of people that I play, I'm trying to figure out certain things as I go along. You understand? So the best thing that I can do for myself right now is not turn the ball over. You understand? Because I'm just not comfortable with the gameplay just yet. So I know that goes for other guys. And I think Pearl is one of them guys as well. I don't think Pearl right now is 100% comfortable with this game. You know what I mean? He's just not, because I'm telling you, this game is not like the last one. You know, so you still trying to shake some things off that you was doing the last one that you still find yourself doing in this one. I'm not going to get into specific detail and say exactly what it is. That's for y'all to figure out. You know, but nevertheless, Miami's in the playoffs, and we'll see what happens when the playoffs start. Well, playoffs have started, so we'll see what happens when Miami take the field. Giants and Saints. Giants been balling all year, right? But then they too kind of fell into a zone where they started losing some games. They don't even have the number one seed, right? And for a while, they looked like they were going to have number one seed hands down. But team that they ran into in week 15 has the number one seed. And this team, once again, like I say, smart guys like Murph play to their strengths. He's not trying to make Derek Carr the league leader in passing yards. He's not trying to have this receiver to be the number one receiver in the league in yards and all of that. You understand? He's going to play to his strengths. Alvin Kamara is the captain of that offense. So what has he been doing? He's been mixing stuff in, putting the gameplay around Alvin Kamara. Now, if you let him throw for 400 yards with Derek Carr, he will. But that's not his intentions. Murphy's a smart guy. Got to respect his handle with this Saints team. He's doing stuff with the Saints that, once again, a lot of people wouldn't be able to do. You got to give credit where credit's due. And I love to see guys like the Saints, the Falcons. You know, I love to see these guys ball out. Even the Giants, right? Bap still balled out with the Giants. So everybody would cry and say, yo, Daniel Jones is trash. Derek Carr is trash. You know, what's the Falcons quarterback name? I can't even think of the Falcons quarterback name, which I know who I'm talking about. Everybody would quickly say after a loss, oh, these quarterbacks is trash. Yes, these quarterbacks are not superstars and X factors, but guess what? If you're trying to make them look like a Pat Mahomes, that's on you. You understand? Like, if you know they're not cut out to be that way, then quit trying to make them be that way. You understand? You got to play to your strengths. These guys know how to do that and execute that to the highest. And this is why they have a high success rate. Saints been balling. You gotta give tip your hat to him. He had a heck of a showdown with the Falcons in the final week of the season, and it was a tough game, but he won that game and he gets the number one seed. 49ers and Cards. 49ers started out balling. I mean, they still won the division, but they too ain't quite look like the 49ers team that they looked in the first half of the season. They ain't look like the same team in the second half of the season. Don't know if people started catching up to what they was doing or what, but, you know, they not looking like the same 49ers team now. He could just say, you know what, we just been waiting for the playoffs, and when playoffs come, he just straight start dominating again. We'll see. But 49ers ain't been looking like the dominant 49ers team that they once was. Cardinals, new to the leagues, not really a league player at all, new to this, and you definitely could tell by the way he took his lumps and bruises. But you know what? I gotta give him props because he never quit, never came in the chat and cried. Never came in the chat and cried. Took his beatings like a man. That's only gonna improve him. Guess what? He's going to have a top 5 pick going into the draft. I think he actually got 2 first-round picks. He should have some cap to spend. I expect Cardinals to play better in the second season than he did the first season. Am I saying he's going to make the playoffs in the second season? No, I'm not saying that, but I expect him to play better. But that's what the offseason is about. See what you need. Come next season, get on the field, utilize it. Buffalo and Dallas, even though Dallas got smoked like a Lucy in this one, Dre came on strong in the second half of the season, ended up making the playoffs. Didn't look like a playoff team the first half of the year. He was on a hot seat once upon a time in the fifth quarter and everything. But he bounced back strong and showed that it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. Cowboys definitely finished stronger than they started, and because of that, he snuck in the playoffs as a number 7 seed. Again, number 7 seed, number 6 seed, none of that matters. You're in the playoffs. Bottom line, get in the playoffs and try to rattle some trees and make things happen from there. That's what the Cowboys did. Buffalo, been one of them teams that's been solid all year. Going to be a problem come playoff time. Listen, defense will give up points, but the offense will score points. Team like Buffalo, you got to be prepared to try to score, right? Because you're not going to lock them down, but you got to put up some points. You got to put up some points. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a position to where it's that, you're going to score 30, but you gave up 60. So Buffalo is definitely one of them teams that you got to come in with your head on the swivel. Seahawks and Eagles. Eagles disappointing second half of the season. Started out good. They missed the playoffs. Another team that I would have thought that made the playoffs if I did playoff predictions. They're not in the playoffs neither. And I'm like I say, man, like nothing is guaranteed. You understand? You gotta earn your keeps. Seahawks are in. Seahawks been solid all year. They got a nice defense over there. So Seattle, in my opinion, they're going to be a team over there that when the playoffs, not the playoffs actually here, they're going to be a team that, can give anybody a problem, right? Like Seattle got a good team. The weak part of Seattle is the quarterback. But when you a team like Seattle, you don't need Geno Smith to win the game for you. You just need Geno Smith not to lose the game for you. You understand? So I think Seattle can definitely have the potential to definitely be a thorn in anybody's backside who they play. But really surprised that Philly did not make it in. That has to be a locker room that's pretty upset over there, especially because they started out good, but then they just got cold at the wrong time. Chiefs and Aviators. Chiefs won this one dominant fashion, 52-3. Chiefs one of them teams that just, let's just be honest, he's just been dominating. He hasn't lost a game since week 1. What type of win streak is that? I'll let you tell it. And on to week 16, which things was really getting crucial, right? The upset of the week was the Rams over the Saints. I got to give E-Ball his props. E-Ball been playing good ball everywhere, as in lately. He's been getting some big-time wins, and this is a big win for him. Clear-cut example of, all right, we may not be in the playoffs, but, hey, we're going to come into next season with some swag, with some confidence. I think the Rams is going to come back next season with some off-season. Go get the water. I think the Rams going to come back next season with off-season additions or with free agency, draft, and I think he's going to do his thing. So, shout out to E-Ball, man. You've been playing some good ball lately. Love to see that. Then we had Bengals and Steelers. This game went to the Bengals. Money Mascot been balling with this Bengals team all year long. Don't get caught up on what his record was. This for you. Don't get caught up on what the Bengals record was. He went away for a little while. So all the losses that you see from him is not from him. I don't think he lost the game playing. Well, give me a water for him. I don't think he lost the game with the Bengals team with all the games that he played. Bengals is going to be a real problem over there in the AFC. You can believe that. You know, so that team is dangerous. They got weapons on offense. Money Mascot always been a great passer, so he's going to be a major headache for anyone in the AFC, including the Chiefs. You know, so Money Mascot, pay attention to them Bengals over there in this playoffs. Buffalo, like I said, Buffalo they've been running through. They've been running through everything. Another example of that in this matchup. Falcons, another team. Like I said, they've been putting up points all season long. That's his name, Ritter been doing this thing all year. In the conversation for MVP race, he's been on top of his game. What more can you say about it? So that was a great win for the Falcons over this Colts team who been playing solid all year. I mean, yeah, Black Star got cold in the second half of the season, but you know what? He's in the playoffs, and the Colts team is a young team, young quarterback, you know, so that got potential to do some good things, but not quite ready. But you know, he did enough to do what he had to do to get in. And all these other games, we just never going to get in because nothing was played. Then you had Seahawks took out the Titans in the Week 17 matchup that did not matter. But Seahawks just added on to, you know, them being pretty much consistent all year long. Cowboys blew out the Dolphins in this one in Week 16 matchup. This is a good win for the Cowboys. Wins like this adds on to confidence building. Like I said, the Dolphins been off and on all year. One week they lose big, another week they win big. Broncos won, but this was kind of like the Broncos team that was already struggling with their identity. Chiefs blew out the Raiders in this one, which didn't matter. Eagles got a big win over his Giants team, but it was kind of like, you know, I want to say too little, too late. But nevertheless, it was a good win against the division. So going into next season, the one thing the Eagles knows is that he can dance with the guy that won the division. Then you had the Ravens, and this is the reason why the Ravens got in the playoffs. This win right here over the 49ers. This win right here is what got the Ravens in the playoffs. A much-needed win. He got it. He got in there. Like I said, the 49ers have not looked like the 49ers team in the second half of the season like they did in the first. Then you had Week 17 matchup. Falcons, once again, put up 40-plus points. Then you had Colts, took out the Raiders. Then you had Titans, Vice Brooklyn team that just never quite got off the mat at all. Eagles blew out the Cards, but like I said, it's been a long season for the Cards. Miami blew out Baltimore. Like I said, Dolphins, 1 week the Dolphins scoring a lot, winning big, and next week they're losing big. So as you can see, it's pretty much what I've been saying. Seahawks pretty much consistent all year long. Broncos got a win, but it was too little, too late. Vikings got a good win over the Packers team, who just went south in the second half of the season. Vikings been playing good ball all year too. They too have made the playoff, and you know, Vikings, another team that people look at as not as popular anymore due to not having Dalvin Cook. Guess what? You get a guy like Jeff who comes along, takes this Vikings team, and gets in the playoffs with them. So give credit when credit's due. Once again, it's not always about who you have. It's what scheme are you using? Are you playing to your strengths? Vikings got in. Shout out to the Vikings, man. You've been playing good ball with this Vikings team all year, and you just another testimony of showing. Don't always get caught up in having the most popular teams. You know what? Find what your strengths are on the team that you have and play to it. Bengals took care of the Browns in Week 18, which is the final week of the season. Colts took care of the Brooklyn team in the final week of the season. Vikings blew out Trey Dog 48-3. Don't know what quite happened to with this Lions team the second half of the season, but the Vikings just straight dominated in this one. Buffalo blew out Miami. Miami is a team that's going to the playoffs with not the highest morale right now. This game right here was for the division. Falcons lost this one by 3. This gave the Saints the division and the number 1 seed. So hard-fought game, but the Saints did what they had to do. Jags and Titans. Jags, one of them teams, like I say, it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. We're actually going into the playoffs on like a 7-8 game win streak or something like that. We started off terrible, but we got in, right? We got in. Once again, it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. I was not refusing. I was not determined to just wave the white flag because we got off to the most horrible start. And because of the resiliency, we found the way to get in. We are in. You know, everybody playoff record is 0-0 right now. Nobody record matters. So we got opportunity to come in the playoffs and see if we can make something shake. And that's what we're going to try to do. Ravens took care of Steelers. Ravens needed this game in a major way. He got it, and he held on to his spot. Cowboys needed this game in a major way. He held on. He controlled his own destiny. He didn't want to play no games. That's what he did. Chiefs blew out the Black Knights in this one. So Chiefs said, you know, let's just get to the playoffs. Let's not get nobody injured. Didn't play his key guys. Still got the win. Came out victorious anyway. So that was just a quick little recap of what went down. Now let's get into the predictions for the wild card, shall we? First up, we got Bills and Ravens. Number 2 seed Buffalo. Baltimore going into a Buffalo game that's probably a blizzard out there, probably a snowstorm. I actually think that snowstorm works in Baltimore's favor, right? Because Buffalo is straight air attack. Buffalo like to air people out. I think if Baltimore are going to have any chance to win this game, he's going to have to run the ball, right? By running the ball, that slows the game down. That takes possessions away from Buffalo. And if it's snowing out there, that ball tends to sail out there. You know, balls end up going where you didn't intend it to. Other than that, I think this is a mismatched game. Styles make fights. This game doesn't match up well at all for Baltimore. I think Baltimore needs a snowstorm in order to have a shot to win this one. I don't like this matchup at all for them. Buffalo is one of them teams that you look up, they got 50 points, you know, at the beginning of the third quarter. Don't like this matchup at all for Baltimore. I like Baltimore against anybody else in this first round. The one team I wouldn't have wanted to see Baltimore playing, they are playing. But you know what? Forget what I'm saying. You just gotta lace up your cleats, tighten up your gloves, tighten up your helmet strap, get on the field and play. So that's what it's gonna come down to. Just get out there and play. But I like Buffalo in this one. I'm gonna go Buffalo pretty big. If it's a storm, then it's tend to be a little different. But I think Baltimore gonna have to give a serious run game going on to be able to compete in this one. But I just think the minute Buffalo goes up 14-0, I think Baltimore just straight up aborts his game plan and tries to go to the air, and I think that's what's going to kill him. I'm going to go Buffalo in this one. I'm going to go 42-17, Bills over the Ravens. In the NFC matchup, we got number 2 seed Giants going against number 7 Cowboys. Now, I'm here to tell you, man, Cowboys been playing with some swag. They've been playing with some confidence. They've been playing great ball lately. You know, the Giants haven't been playing the most consistent ball, but nevertheless, they still been playing good ball. You know, just not the same type of ball it was in the beginning of the season. Honestly, man, I'm going to go with the Giants, but I'm telling you, don't be surprised if you look up in this fourth quarter, this game's like a one-score game. Cowboys been playing good, man, so you can't sweep that under the rug. You know, if the Cowboys, though, if you come out there and just having like two or three turnovers in the first quarter, it's going to get ugly. But if the Cowboys can come out there and take care of that ball, man, he's going to find himself in a position to win this game. I'm going to give the Cowboys a shot, but I'm going to take the Giants to win this. I'm going to say Giants 35, Cowboys 30. 35-30, Giants over the Cowboys. Next, we got Colts and Jags. These two teams split in the regular season. Jags went from out of the playoff picture in the early part of the season to actually getting number 6 seed. So we've been playing some good ball lately, but who cares? It's playoff time. One loss. None of that streak stuff matters. We got to come in. We got to slow down this Colts offense. They've been playing good with Richardson and that Taylor combination. So we got to come in and we got to do what we got to do. Colts is at home. I'm going to say, I don't predict games in my games. I just say who's the favorite. I'm going to say the favorite in this one is the Colts. I'm going to say Colts favored by 3 in this one over the Jags. Moving on back to the NFC, we got number 3 seed 49ers going against the number 6 seed Falcons. Very, very interesting, right? Because you got a 6 seed against a 3 seed. 3 seed is at home. Hey, man, I got to tell you, this game has number 6 seed upset written all over it. But is it an upset, right? Is that really an upset? Is the 49ers really the favorite over the Falcons? I mean, they are number 3 seed, right? In this case, I don't quite think so. But it is what it is. 49ers are the favorite. They home. They're the 3 seed, so they're the favorite. But listen, man, the way the Falcons been playing, I got to go with ATL in this one. I can't lie. The 49ers have not been looking like the 49ers in the second half of the season like they have in the first half. The Falcons been solid all season long. Now, does that mean that I give the 49ers no shot to win this? No, not at all. Because the one thing this Falcons defense is going to have to do is stop that running game. But oh yeah, let's check something else out before we even get into that. Let's see who's facing major injuries. I think the 49ers, he lost McCaffrey. I just don't know for how long. So let's see. So far, I'm seeing no injuries nowhere. Everybody looks nice and healthy. Seahawks, he has injuries. Kenneth Walker is out a week. Oh, he don't have his running back. That is big for this Seahawks team because Kenneth Walker is going to play a major part in what Seattle want to do. That's a big injury, man. And he's out because we are advanced, and he's still out for a week. Seahawks got to weather the storm without Kenneth Walker. He's a big part of that offense. Helped Geno Smith out a lot. That's a major injury for the Seahawks that I did not know that they had. Other than that, everybody's looking pretty healthy. Like, there's no injuries. There's no injuries across the board. The Dallas lost their right tackle. That can be a problem. He's 81 overall too. Falcons, their linebackers out. That can be pretty big. But no, 49ers don't have no major injuries. So, all right, so injuries don't look like a problem other than, I say the biggest injury is what the Seahawks is facing. But Niners and Falcons, listen, man, I'm going to go with the Falcons in this one, but I'm not going to take the Falcons to blow the 49ers out unless the 49ers defense just allowing the Falcons to do what they want. I don't think the 49ers offense can keep up with the Falcons offense if this comes into a shootout. The 49ers defense is going to have to show up big in this one for the 49ers to win. But I'm taking the Falcons, and I'm taking the Falcons to win this one. I'm going to go 24-17 Falcons over the Niners. Falcons get a big playoff win on the road. Then we go to number 4 matchup, Bengals against number 5 Dolphins. Now this is pure playoff material right here. I don't think the Bengals lost the game that he's played, right? But he went away for a while, so he piled up a lot of losses. And Miami has been inconsistent all year. They've been up and down. They win, they lose. They win big, they lose big. So going into this, you would say, well, I'm taking the Bengals. Not so fast. Don't misconstrue regular season with playoff. Pearl is an OG to this. He knows the necessary adjustments he needs to make. He knows how to make the necessary changes. So Pearl can quite win this game flat out. But he is on the road. He is going to Cincy. And let's be honest, the Bengals have been way more consistent than the Dolphins. So with that being said, I'm going Bengals in this one. But the only thing that would surprise me in this one is either opponent got blown out. That'll be the only shocker. If Miami wins, it's no surprise. You understand? Like, let's not get it twisted. Pearl have been playing the best ball lately, but he's still not no slouch. I got the Bengals to win, but in a competitive effort. Give me Bengals in this one, 31, Dolphins 27. 31-27, Bengals over the Dolphins. And for the last matchup of the first round, you got number 4 Vikings going against number 5 Seahawks. I think that Kenneth Walker injury is pretty significant, but the one thing the Seahawks can do is play defense. I think this Seattle defense comes in, knows that the defense is going to have to show up big in this one. I think this game is not a ton of points scored, but if it is points scored, I think Seattle will be in trouble. It's in Minnesota, which means Seattle is traveling. Minnesota don't have to worry about hitting that 12th-man stadium. I'm going to take Seattle to win this, but hey, man, I got to be honest. I think this can go either way. Minnesota can definitely win this game, especially with no Kenneth Walker. He can take this. Minnesota defense can say, we're going to make Geno Smith beat us. And that can be a problem for Seattle. But then Seattle can say, we're going to make, I don't even know if Kirk Cousins is playing for Minnesota, but Seattle can say, we're going to make Kirk Cousins have to beat us. So either way, this game has the potential to go to either team. I'm going to take Seattle because I think Seattle is the more poised team. You know, I think Minnesota might go out into a little panic mode if Seattle gets out 7-0 or 10-0 or something like that. But I got to be honest, man, Minnesota been playing solid all year, so Minnesota can definitely win this game. But I got to take Seattle, but I don't think it's going to be a ton of points scored. I'll take Seattle in this one, 17, Minnesota 14. 3-point victory, 17-14, Seahawks over the Vikings. So, only thing left now to do is hit the field. All the playoff predictions are there for you. Good luck to everybody that made the playoffs. Let the playoffs begin, and let's see who end up standing at the end. I will see y'all on the next round, which will be divisional round. I'm out.